We now begin with the second session of the Shaping Young Minds program with Mr. Shiv Shivakumar, Operating Partner, Advent International Private Equity and past President, All India Management Association as the speaker, and Ms. Madhumita Basu, former President, Calcutta Management Association, Board Member NU Vista Limited and CXO Novoco Vista Corporate Limited as the session chair. Before we request our dignitaries to be seated on the dais, I would request the student panelists to please be seated on their respective seats on the stage. Now, it is my proud privilege to invite on stage Mr. Shiv Shivakumar and Ms. Madhumita Basu. Ms. Madhumita Basu, prior to joining Novoco, Ms. Madhumita Basu held significant positions at Exide Industries and Ever Ready Industries India. Ms. Basu is a former president of Calcutta Management Association. With these few words, I now hand over the proceedings to Ms. Madhumita Basu and request her to introduce the speaker, Mr. Shiv Shivakumar, and take the program forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm audible? Yeah, thank you. So everybody settled. I see some of the audience still standing. We'll just give them a second to find their seats. Yeah, all ready to begin. Not every day do you get an opportunity to introduce a corporate celebrity. A man who has been a CEO for more than half of his career. And that too, starting off as one of the youngest CEOs. He began his career in Hindustan Levers, then went on to head companies such as Nokia India, later Nokia's emerging businesses in Asia, PepsiCo, and also as executive group director on the Aditya Birla Group for strategy and business development. He has worked with over 50 brands, a true blue marketing and management person, and has seen many business transformations. I should say, has led many business transformations. He is currently the operating partner of Advent International Private Equity. He writes and teaches prolifically on subjects such as business models, innovation, leadership, digitization, etc., in leading management schools globally. He has authored 2 books, The Right Choice, which discusses career dilemmas, and The Art of Management, which has to do with managing self, managing teams, and managing your business. He has won several awards. Best CEO, Best Brand Builder, for his leadership capabilities, for turnaround cases, et al. But put in his own words, he attaches most value to his 2 alumnus awards. One from IIT Madras, and the other one, of course, from IIM Calcutta. On a personal note, I follow him on LinkedIn, and I'm absolutely amazed by his voracious reading, His ability to take these learnings from books he reads and put it across in a succinct PPT, his numerous engagements with engineering and management students, and true business wisdom that he shares through media interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Shiv Shivakumar, or Shiv as he is popularly known. What better forum than IIMA's Shaping Young Mind program, which encourages an anecdotal and not a preachy, jargonistic, but an anecdotal coaching kind of interaction for interacting with such a celebrity. Let's take this moment to learn from his vast experience and his storytelling. So over to you, Shiv. Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm absolute. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, fantastic. Okay, you don't need to call me sir. You can call me Shiv or whatever. It's a little warm in here. Okay, I'm here to tell you my story, but before I start, the concept of SYMP, or Shaping Young Minds program, was started by my boss, who was my boss in Hindustan Lever, which is Mr. R. Gopalakrishnan, when he was the president of the All India Management Association. So I think it's a great idea, and when I was president, I tried to participate in as many as possible, and Sanjay keeps calling me for this, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here. For me, it's very special because the last time I was on this stage was 2011, and 2011 was when I was awarded the Distinguished Alumnus from IIM Calcutta. 9 students out of the first 50 years who were given that, and that was on this stage. And my Professor Sudas Roy delivered the citation at that point of time. So a bit about myself. I'm a Bangalore boy. I come from Bangalore, from a family of 3. I have an elder sister who is a professor. I have a younger brother who is an orthopedic surgeon who is based in London. I have studied mostly in boarding schools across the country, and then I went and studied at IIT, and then I came here. And there's a story to that, when I came here to IIM Calcutta. Wherever I've studied, right through my career, and from school to college and everywhere, some people have been very important in my life, which is teachers. Teachers have been extremely important in shaping me and my thinking right through my career, you know. And I remember when I was in Standard 5, we had to write an essay on radio. And I started by writing about Marconi and what he did with radio, etc. And Mrs. Mark, who was my teacher, my English teacher, and an outstanding English teacher at that, she gave me 66 marks on 100, which was the very best score. It was number 1 in class, 66 on 100. Today, if you get 66, I think you fail, right? Now, everybody gets 99.5. But 66, 30, 40 years ago, was the number 1 mark in class. At the end of the class, she said, Shiv, stay back. And I stayed back. And she said, Shiv, you have an ability to write well. And don't ever give up this habit. And you know, when you're 10, nobody tells you you're good at anything. And for a teacher whom I admired, for her to tell me something was just fabulous. So through my schooling and college, I've been more of an all-rounder. There's a curriculum, there is studies to be done at one end. But I was always an all-rounder in terms of taking part in sport, taking part in debating, taking part in dumb charades. And also, I was the editor in school of the school magazine. I was the editor in my college, in IIT, of this campus magazine. I was also the editor here when I came to IIM Calcutta in both my years. Okay? But my first lesson for you is, many, many times you don't know what you're good at. It's others who see that you're good at something, and people who see you closely, okay, they are the people who nudge you. So Mrs. Mark nudged me to write, and I continue to write even today. When I was at IIT, 70-80% of my batch, we were 250 people, I think about 200 went abroad. And the first thing which most people tend to do is to figure out which universities to go, what to do, etc. In my case, something different happened. When I went to the second year hostel, my seniors, people like Shanti Kumar Senathi Rajan, T.M. Narayanan, Govindan, Rajiv, a lot of these guys said, hey, Shiv, we think you have management in you, and you must pursue an MBA degree. You must get into management. We see that in you. I was an engineer thinking I will pursue an MS or something in engineering. And then they said, no, you must do this. So that's how the concept of management was born in my head. Otherwise, I didn't know that an IIM existed, honestly. At that point of time, there were only 3 IIMs. Then I applied to the IIMs. I got through the IIMs, and I chose Calcutta. I chose Calcutta because 20 of my classmates were coming here from IIT Madras. So it was like a gang. So we had a gang at IIT, various hostels. We said, hey, we're all going to Calcutta. And that's the reason I landed up here. And that's the second, lesson in life. The first I told you was other people know what you're good at. Listen to them. My second lesson is you will lose a lot in life. Don't let it put you down. I lost a lot in life, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So my parents were in Dharwad when I finished IIT. And I was coming to IIM Calcutta. So from Dharwad, I went to Bombay, and I took the mail, Bombay, Calcutta mail, to come here. A 36-hour journey. My parents had bought me a spanking new VIP suitcase. Nice, lovely blue one, fantastic. Everything was there in it. All the certificates from the time I was in school and college. I had possibly some of the best recommendations from my director at IIT Madras, Professor Indrasan, the Dean at IIT Madras, Professor R. Srinivasan, everybody. I had the best recommendations, every single thing, all the files neatly stacked in my suitcase. I'm sleeping in the lower berth. Okay, I cross, the last night. I wake up next morning in Kharagpur, my suitcase is gone. Just gone. Luckily for me, I had an airbag with another t-shirt, and I had a tennis racket. I used to be captain of tennis and cricket at IIT Madras, and I'd bought my tennis racket along. So completely gone. I was just shocked out of my life. I'd never lost anything in my life till then. Okay, it was the most significant moment. I was in utter panic. So I landed and went to the police station. Went to the police station, filed a complaint and said, I've lost everything. My clothes, my traveler's checks, but most important of all, everything I had valued about my education was gone. All my recommendation letter, all my marks cards, everything was gone. Degree, everything, completely. So it was a miserable journey from Howrah station. Okay, I came all the way here. I got down opposite here, and I walked into the admin office, which is there. Deepak Da was there, Deepak Chatterjee, who was our admin officer. So I went to Deepak Da and said, I am Shiv Kumar. But I can't prove I am Shiv Kumar. Can you believe it? I can't prove it. But, here's my tennis racket, here's my airbag. But I can do one thing for you. I can give you the phone number of IIT Madras, Dean Srinivasan, and he will watch for me. So, and I said, there are a number of my classmates here and my seniors who will also watch for me. He said, I trust you, Shiv, but just in case, because we need all the papers, etc., I definitely want to speak to IIT Madras and the Dean. I said, by all means, please call this the number. So he called Dean Srinivasan, and he said, we have a chap here called Shiv. He says he's Shiv, and he's got nothing to prove that he's Shiv. So Dean Srinivasan told him, admit him, don't worry. I will send you whatever is needed. And we'll send it to you in the next 48 hours. Don't worry about it. That's how I got admitted into IIM Calcutta without a proof that I was Shiv Kumar, without a proof that I had an engineering degree, without a proof that I had anything. That's how I got into IIM Calcutta. So now That was the biggest shock, and I lost everything. Imagine you grow up, you have some achievements and you lose everything. And the first term, for the first 4 or 5 months, every week I'd go to the police station, hoping against hope that somebody would give back my certificates, somebody would give back my recommendation letters. Nothing like that happened. Okay, my first term was a disaster. I'd lost so much, and my whole mind was not in the right space. It took me 2 terms, about 4 to 6 months to come out of it. And then I said, what are you doing to yourself? What's done and done is over. Somebody's stolen it, gone, now focus on your studies. And then I came back. By the time I finished, I taught marketing at IIM Calcutta, and some of my professors, Ramanuj Majumdar, Sudas Roy, Madhumita Basu, etc., they're fantastic teachers, outstanding guys. Our library building came up here. I used to spend a lot of time there. And in my last term, I ended up with possibly the best CGPA in the class at about 8.4 on 9. But it took 5 months to come out of that huge loss. Okay, so my point is, you will lose things in life. You'll lose a dear one. You'll lose other things in life, but that's okay. You just need to come out of it. You need to put it behind you. I was lucky that it happened to me when I was very early in my 20s, but it was a big shock. So irrespective of what you lose, tomorrow is always a better day. Remember that. And don't worry about what you've lost. Think about it, grieve about it, but then move on. That's my second lesson for you. The first being, others will see good in you. Others will know what you're good at. Second, if something is lost, all is not lost. Okay? Third, I start working. I studied here. Again, next, a lot of my classmates, when I used to be editor, they would say, hey, Shiv, you're good at marketing. We see you have a flair for marketing. We see you have a flair for connection and insights. So you must take marketing. So that's why I ended up in marketing. Again, I didn't know that I was good at it. It was my classmates and my professors who told me that, Shiv, you're good at this. And that's how I ended up doing marketing. So once you do marketing, then you say, this is a very important question for all of you. Whatever you specialize in, if you want to be the best at that, go and work in the best companies in that area. So automatically, I went to Hindustan Lever, which was one of the best marketing companies of that decade and that era. Okay. Then you start working. When you start working, and many of you will do that, whatever you do, do your best. Whatever you do your best for the company. In doing your best for the company is your success. If the company does well, you will do well. Today is a day and age when a lot of people self-promote themselves and put themselves ahead of the company. A few of them will succeed, most of them will fail. Your success will come when your company succeeds. Remember that. Okay, so do your best in whatever you are assigned, whatever job. I've done all kinds of roles, from sales manager to this to that, etc. When I was sales manager, I would travel 23 days a month in Andhra Pradesh, 23 days a month. I would go, come back after 14 days, go again, come back after 9 days. To me, it was special that my team and my distributors, really felt that I was there with them, shoulder to shoulder, pushing sales and doing all the right things. So whatever job you are assigned, don't worry about the next job, don't worry about the previous job. Try and beat the living daylights out of the job that you are given. Don't go by the job description. A job description exists because somebody needs to fill a job. You have to go well beyond the job. The job description should not limit you. Okay? That's what I would say. Then, again, I didn't know this. I was just happy just being a marketing guy. I would have been happy just being marketing director of Hindustan Lever. And one day in 2003, I woke up and read the Hindu Business Line. The Hindu Business Line had interviewed a number of people in Bombay, marketing and advertising professionals, and asked them, who do you think are the next bunch of CEOs in this country? This was 20 years ago. And lo and behold, my name was top of the list. And I said, wow, I always thought of myself as a marketing guy, and today industry people think I can be a CEO. That's the first time it struck in my head that I could be a CEO. Okay? So again, other people see something in you. You don't set out to say, I want to be a CEO. Okay? I was quite happy being marketing director, trust me. So then Nokia happened. Nokia was one of the finest companies that I worked for. We are the highest of highs. When I joined Nokia, it was a very small company. We became India's largest multinational at $4 billion in 2009-10. Nothing Nokia did was wrong. Everything we touched turned to gold. And we had huge share. We became India's most trusted brand. No technology brand had ever made it to the top 10 in the India list. We went straight from 71, 4 years before, into 1, straight off, and we held it for 4 years there. And that was an absolute revelation for India. Because in India, only FMCG brands had been in the top 10. And suddenly comes Nokia from out of nowhere, and we went right to the top. And Nokia has a very special place in my heart and my career. Because I think, while Hindustan Lever taught me a lot, they invested a hell of a lot in me and made me who I was. It was Nokia which gave me the prominence and my name and stature as one of the CEOs. After that, Nokia collapsed. Nokia collapsed because we took the wrong decision. The CEO and the board decided to go with Windows operating system rather than Android. We had 32 share of the global market, and in devices, we chose an operating system which was 4 share. And it was a marriage made in hell. There was no chance of success. When I left Nokia, it was a very emotional moment for me. I'd spent a decade there. And a lot of my friends in the headhunters told me, you should have left a year ago, Shiv. I said, why didn't you tell me this? They said, you're too deeply emotionally involved with Nokia. And so that's the other lesson for you. As you go through your career, wherever you are, you will be emotionally invested in a company or in a job or whatever it is. But don't be so invested that you can't step back and say, hey, am I doing the right thing? Maybe I should have left a year ago. I was the last of the top 25 managers to leave Nokia. But okay, it happens, it happens. But again, I put it back behind me and then joined PepsiCo. PepsiCo was a fun ride because we had to make the company profitable. It had not been profitable for 25 years of its existence. We had to make it profitable, which we did. Okay, reshaped the brands, reshaped execution, reshaped superior products, every single thing. Then I went and worked. I was on the board of IIM Ahmedabad, and Mr. Birla was the chair of the board. He said, Shiv, what do you plan to do next? I said, look, I can think of various options. He said, why don't you come across and we'll find a role for you and see what we can do. I ended up in Aditya Birla Group. I ran strategy for 5 years. I ran the global textile business for 4 years. I ran the premium cement business for 2.5 years. I ran the consumer economics cell for 6 months. So I did 4 roles in those 5 years. I learned a hell of a lot. Right through, if there's one thing which I'll stress, learn. Your degree, whatever you have, is the foundation of this building. What you learn is the next skill and the next skill and the next skill. Build a skyscraper of skills. That's what will take you forward in a future world. So after that, I said, what do I need to do? And private equity came along. And private equity said, hey, Shiv, you've done this portfolio management in your last company. This is exactly what we do. Allocate resources, bet on companies, and shape them to grow. And that's where I am this year. I started with them early this year, and that's my journey. So first, others see in you what you don't see in yourself. First lesson. Second, you will lose something in life at some stage. Maybe you lose a lot, maybe you lose a little, but not all is lost when you lose something. And remember my blue suitcase story. Okay? Whatever job is given to you, do your best. Do not be confined by the role or the job description. Okay? Next, deserve before you desire. Everybody wants a promotion. Everybody wants a car. Everybody wants a foreign trip, whatever it is. But you must deserve it before you desire it. Okay? Today we have a lot more desire and much less deserve. Okay? That's what I would tell you. Stay multi-skilled. Okay? Very crucial in order to succeed. In an age of AI, and everybody is talking about it, the World Economic Forum said that there are 3 skills which are absolutely crucial for success in a future world. 1 is creativity. 2 is complex problem solving. 3 is critical thinking. To that, I would add 2 soft skills, which I've seen through my career are absolutely crucial. 1 is communication, and 2 is collaboration. You cannot do anything on your own. You cannot do anything on your own, even if you're the best at something. You'll need somebody. The best tennis players need a coach, need a support system. The best golf players need that. The best cricket team needs that. So Collaborate with as many people as you can. Give more than you take. And trust me, you'll have a great career. So that's all I have to say. I've taken about 20 minutes. More than happy to engage with all of you and these bright young minds here in terms of any questions that they might have for me. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience and lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Shiv. We will start from my left. We'll first take 8 questions from the student panel on stage, and then we'll move to the audience. So over to you. Would you like to go first? Yeah. Do introduce yourself and then place your question. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I'm Adrija Biswas from Future Institute of Engineering and Management. Sir, my question to you is, you have been associated with many brands. Sir, any special experiences or stories you would like to share with us, sir?
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. There are many stories I can tell you, just not one or two. The key thing I would always say is, do what's right by the brand. And the brand exists in the minds of consumers. It doesn't exist in your presentation. It doesn't exist in your company. It exists in the minds of the consumers. I remember when we had the BL5C situation for Nokia. BL5C happened in 2007, August 14, 2007. And Nokia put out a product advisory saying a few batteries had bulged in a total battery run of 34 million batteries. Okay? Insignificant. But they said, look, we are putting out a product advisory and we believe the world should know it, the consumer should know it. We said, look, you might not want to say that in India because there'll be repercussions. They said, no, Nokia is Nokia. We want to be honest, we'll do it. We said, fine, and let's be prepared for the worst. I was on a flight from Singapore to Delhi, and then I was connecting from Delhi to Helsinki after 3 hours after that. So I spoke to my comms director, Poonam Kaul, and said, hey, what do you think will happen? She said, I don't think the media will be nice, Shiv, but let's see. When I landed, I called her, and she was in utter panic. And she said, Shiv, everything's off now. I said, where are you calling from? She said, I'm calling from the office. I said, it's 11:30. She said, yeah, the whole management team is sitting here. Because media had gone to town and said, Nokia's, safety is bad, this, that, etc. She said, you better come to office right now. So from the airport, I drove down to the office, and we met till about 3:30 and said, 12 things we should do in order to contain this problem. We did 10 of them in the first 48 hours. Okay, the last 2 later. And we went on stage and we said, all batteries are safe, this is fine, this is the situation, you can you can come and replace it, etc. We didn't know it at that point of time. It took a month by the time it died down. Okay, and people were claiming all kinds of things, etc. But the way we handled it made Nokia the #1 brand next year. So my point to you is, there is adversity. Okay, but as long as you tell the truth to the consumer and you deal with the consumer in an honest manner, which Nokia did and the whole team did, that's why we got rewarded. That's my lesson.
Hello, sir. I'm Shodhit Banerjee from Heritage Business School. Sir, my question is, as I'm a young entrepreneur starting my business, and as a student as well, every day we face some high and lows. So my question is to you, how one tip for students and entrepreneurs like us, how to tackle these lows?
So the thing is, both highs and lows are part of life. Okay, you can wake up in the morning feeling high, you go to office, things don't go well, by lunchtime you could be low. I think the first thing I would say to all of you as young people is keep balance. Okay, life is full of highs, life is full of lows. But what's important is not to get arrogant when you're high and not to get despondent when you're low. Okay? When you're low, you need the emotional anchors around you, people who support you. They typically are your spouse, your family, your close friends, your teachers in college, whoever it is. Okay? Surround yourself with a few people who are your emotional anchors, and they will see you through this tough phase. And whatever low you go through, a good question to ask is, did I do my very best? That's the question I've asked every time my brand has failed, or a pack has failed, or an advertising has failed, or something has failed. I would always ask, did I do my very best? If the answer is, I've done my best, then you can sleep in peace. Okay? But surround yourself with people who believe in you, who are your emotional anchors. That's absolutely crucial for you to come out of your low.
Good morning, sir. I am Shravana Nashkar from Future Institute of Engineering and Management. And my question to you is, sir, in today's competitive market, what do you think that makes a brand stand apart from others?
There are a number of things. First is, a brand is a promise. And I think Samuel Johnson said this many years ago. Promise, large promise is the soul of all advertising. Whatever a brand says, it must do, and it must go beyond that. A brand must stay relevant. It must stay relevant to today's times. For example, if Levi's were to sell to you people today, then they have to sell a lot of these patch jeans and tone jeans, etc. They cannot stay with their 5-rivet jeans, which was a big success in the 1960s or 1970s. So you need to stay relevant to today. Your content and communication must be relevant to today. Okay, so there's a promise which a brand has. You must always meet it and exceed it, and the brand must always stay contemporary and stay relevant. The day that brand doesn't stay contemporary and relevant, it relegates in your mind. Then you suddenly say, I have gone past that brand. Okay, and brands have to always be aspirational. It doesn't matter at what price point they come, but brands must be aspirational. Those are the simple things which make brands.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, sir. My name is Orko Mahato. I am from Heritage Business School. So, sir, our country has recently launched Chandrayaan-3, and it's a great successful for our country. So, sir, my question is, in this global scenario of rapid changing technology, where do you see India positioned in the current future? And this technology is going to be a boon or curse for the rural part of our India?
Okay. So, here's the thing for you. India has always been a physically challenged country. But India is a digitally rich country. Remember this. If you take payments as an area, okay, payments as an area, the world indexes 67 on digital payments. India indexes 87. Okay. The RBI governor said the other day that we want to get to voice prompted payments. That's a fantastic innovation. Nobody in the world has even thought about it. All our innovation in the past was import substitution and cost-led. Today our innovation is much more market-facing, technology-led, and it's disaggregating. Most of innovation in the West is aggregated innovation. Ours is disaggregated. For example, today you buy on Amazon. Amazon decides for you who the delivery agent is, where the payment mechanism is, etc. With ONDC, you can choose who the delivery agent is. It's disaggregated. You can choose which bank you pay with, or what BNPL you use, etc. So disaggregation has actually helped consumers, and it has helped keep prices down in this country. So I personally believe that your generation and whatever is happening, we've had multiple skill missions in this country, etc. I think there's a huge tailwind which is happening thanks to digital in India. And I think it's a matter of time before we go up the value chain. While some people might say, okay, Shiv, digital payments, etc., you had inefficiency in the past and that's why you're doing it. I give you another good example, EV, scooter EVs. India is leading in scooter EVs. That's a product in innovation which we are leading in, which is good. So we have to lead in services. We also need to lead in products. I think both are happening right now. I personally think India is on a very good cusp, and I think it will only get better.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. So my question is, everyone has their own role model in their life. So who has been your role model and why?
Okay, good question. So who is your role model and why? You know, as you go through life, when you are a kid, your parents are your role models. Okay, willy-nilly. Kids might not even know the word role model, but somehow they tend to ape their parents, their dad, their mom, etc., in the way you speak, in the way you conduct yourself, etc. So when you're a kid, your parents are your role model. When you become a teenager, like some of you might be teenagers in this room, which is between the age of 13 to 19, when you become a teenager, the richest uncle, aunt or relative is the role model. Because suddenly we see the world through material eyes. We want that car, we want that watch, we want that fashion accessory, whatever it is. So they become your role models. Okay. In school, and actually junior school, teachers are big role models. For example, I have a friend, Bhavya, whose daughter, Malhar, wonderful girl, she's 5 years old. When she goes to kindergarten, every day, believe it or not, she goes and hugs all her teachers, every day. To her, teachers are a huge thing in her life. So right at a very young age, teachers are huge role models. Then when you get into college, and whether you're in boarding or otherwise, your seniors become your role models. Because you see these guys, they're the secretary, football captain, cricket captain, hockey captain. You say, okay, I want to be somebody like that. Okay, then they become your role models. When you start working, your bosses and your seniors become your role model. Okay. And there'll be some people who you read about, who you never meet in your life, who could be role models. For many people, Gandhi is a huge role model. Okay, nobody will ever meet him, but reading about the person makes him a role model for you. Or Jack Welch to a number of people, okay, or Robert McNamara, etc. So for me, it has been my teachers, okay, definitely, my early bosses in my career. Robert McNamara, the World Bank president and Ford CEO, Jack Welch, Obama, okay, Mandela. Okay. There's something about them and what they say and what they do which resonates with me, and that's what they wrote.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Ovinandan Chakraborty from JIS University, and my question to you is that, so you have studied from IIM Calcutta, which happens to be the venue for today's program. So, sir, what are the memories that comes to your mind when you revisit the campus here today?
In fact, as I entered the campus, right to the left is a building, and there used to be a restaurant run by Mihir. Mihir used to also run our hostel. I think he's still there. I'll go say hi to him on the way back. So that was my first recollection. Then the car took a left turn and came across the hostels. So I looked up. H1208 is where I used to stay. I could see my room right up there. It's the first room as you enter this road. And then I saw the tennis court. Tennis court is swank and nice. It was not this good when I played there. I saw the basketball court also, very swanky. There we used to play cricket. Okay, now that's not there. This place where this auditorium is used to be the cricket ground. That used to be the practice pitch. And now we have this here. So that's what I remembered. Then when I came in here, I thought of the many times I've been in this room. And the memory, as I told you, was 2011 when I came to receive the Most Distinguished Alumnus Award. And Professor Sudas Roy, who taught me, was reading the citation. And he said something very nice, and that I was remembering that when I walked up. He said, I don't think Shiv knew how far he would go, but we knew how far he would go. Okay, so that is there in the citation. That was very special. So those are the memories which was there as I entered there. Thank you for that question.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I am Orgo Chaudhary from JIS University. Sir, thank you for the enriching session. And sir, I want to get some advice from you that the students who are studying in various B schools across the country, which are not as good as IIM, what will be your advice for them?
Great question. Thank you. So let me step back and give you a bunch of stats on this. There are 13,000 business schools in the world, 13,000, offering an MBA degree. Of the 13,000 in the world, 4,000 are in India. India has the highest number of business schools in the world, highest. We produce 4 lakh MBAs every year. Okay. Only in the top 25 schools in India is the starting salary higher than the fees paid. Only in the top 25 schools. Here's the point to you. A degree from anywhere, any institution, be it IIT, be it IIM, be it Wharton, wherever it is, can at best open the first door to the first job and maybe a window to the second job. That's it. What matters is the results you produce, how well you work with people, and the contribution you make. That's what matters. So in my book, when I ran companies, it didn't matter to me where the person studied, as long as he produced results and he showed potential. So it doesn't matter whether you've not studied in IIT or IIM. Do your very best. You get a job, beat the living daylights out of the job. That's the first step. Okay, that's what will take you far. Okay, to give you a simple stat, if you nowadays the batches at business schools are 400, 500. I think the current batch here is 500. Till when the batch size was about 200, 250, less than 5% of an MBA batch made it to CEO. 95% of an MBA batch wants to be a CEO, but only 5% made it. So that tells you that only people who have the long haul, you have to run the marathon of a career. A career is not a sprint. You cannot just run 100 meters in 15 seconds and say, I've done it. No. It is the long yards, it is the 42 kilometers, it is the 30 years. You have to have the energy, you have to have the stamina, you have to have the relevance and the learning to stay that course. That's what's important. Don't worry, where you come from was not in your hands. Okay? Was not in your destiny. But where you finish is in your destiny. And that's what you should focus on.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Vidipta Datta Roy, and I'm from Institute of Engineering and Management. So my question today is that you have headed organizations where brand promotions have been done by a lot of celebrities, and I'm sure you must have interacted with several of these celebrities. Any memorable interaction or any light moment which you would like to share with us?
Okay, there are lots. So I worked with Shahrukh for about 20 odd years. He's a friend. If Shahrukh was not an actor, he would be a CEO. He is a very sharp, brilliant guy. And absolutely hats off to him. I'll tell you a story on Shahrukh. So my association with Shahrukh started in 2001 when I was in Hindustan Lever, and we signed him up for Clinic All Clear. Okay, we signed him up for Clinic All Clear, and he was the brand ambassador because he had fantastic hair. You know, he's got a lovely mop of hair. So we signed him up, and we ran a campaign, etc. Next year, another actor came into force, and he was the raging success. And Shahrukh was actually outplaced by that actor on popularity index, both amongst girls and boys. So Shahrukh called the agency and said, are you guys going to renew the contract? And the agency called me. I said, look, I don't think, because Shahrukh's stars are not looking good at this point of time, and I'm not so sure we should do that. So they conveyed that to Shahrukh, and Shahrukh said, fair enough. He said, Shiv, it seems you have some data, why don't you come and see me? So me and the agency, we went and met him. I met him in his, vanity van. He was shooting for Devdas, I still remember that. Okay, wearing that white. So he said, Shiv, I hear you don't want to renew the contract. I said, yeah. He said, why? I said, Shahrukh, I have some data, this is what it is, etc. He looked at it and said, I agree. Close. He said, but I'm having some great movies coming up, Shiv. Okay, I want to do this. I hear you have a dancing script. I can dance bloody well. I want to do this. I want to do this. And he said, okay, between us, this is the deal I'm putting at the table. It was a very compelling deal. On the spot, I said, yes, Shahrukh, we'll do it. And then we did it, the Dodala campaign, hugely successful. He landed in Delhi and he saw himself on all the posters, everything. He called the agency and said, fantastic, I really like this campaign. Okay, then his fortune turned. Next year was on top again. Time for renewal. So he called the agency and said, does Shiv want to renew? So I said, what price? And his price had doubled. Okay. So I said, Shahrukh, let's be friends. Let's stop it. Very bright guy. He knew when the brand needed him. He knew when he needed the brand. Okay, brilliant. Same thing when we did IPL with him. I said, let's do year-by-year contract, Shahrukh, because 3 years nobody knows. And he said, absolutely right. He said in 2008, Shiv, nobody knows whether IPL will be a huge success. Let's go 1 year at a time. I'm on. Okay, so great guy, a fantastic mind, possibly one of the finest minds that I've met in the entertainment industry. Wonderful human being.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Am I audible? Yeah, I think I am now. So before I move to the audience, I must compliment the students panel here, Shiv.
Great question.
Fantastic set of questions. You need to applaud for yourselves. Okay, so that is 12:10. We will take about 6 minutes of questions, and I'll give myself 3 to 4 minutes to wrap up the session. We'll start from my left here. Last row, second gentleman from the right, please. I will try and allow 6 questions each group. We have a couple of extra microphones here. I'd request one person be stationed near this group and one there so that we don't lose time again.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Shardul Pandey, and I'm from Army Institute of Management, Kolkata. Having worked across multiple industries, sir, I believe you have an expert opinion on adaptability. I was wondering how you train adaptability and how, if you have had any issues or problems relating to it. Any stories, perhaps?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So here's the thing. When you go from a different industry to a new industry, nobody thinks you know that industry. And everybody will try to teach you, etc. So for example, when I had to sell coffee in Hindustan Lever, I had not sold coffee before. I had sold tea. I did a very simple thing. I called all the coffee big guns of the South, the Narsus, the Leo Coffee, etc., and called them and said, you know, my name is Shiv Kumar, I work for Unilever, I know nothing about coffee, but I'm willing to learn. Okay? You'll be surprised, all of them invited me to their office. Mr. Narsu, old man Narsu, actually invited me to his factory, and I met his family and had dinner with him, etc. They taught me everything I had to know about coffee, believe it or not. So I learned from my competition about coffee compared to learning about it from textbooks. Next, when I joined Nokia. When I joined Nokia, the buzz in Nokia was, this guy has sold soap, detergent, tea, coffee, shampoos. What will he teach us? Sanitary napkins, baby products, that's what he sold. What can he teach us? We are box sellers, we know how to sell. I spoke to 200 people before I joined Nokia. 200 people who had worked in Nokia, distributors of Nokia, and the mobile phone industry. I spoke to 200 people, I still have my notes, I made copious notes and went in there. So whatever new you take, I think it's extremely important that you go prepared. Because if you don't go prepared, then you'll take a lot of time listening to people and trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. But if you do your homework well, then your adaptability becomes much easier. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, a microphone for the gentleman here.
Hello, my name is Akash Ghosh and I am from IIM Calcutta. Sir, thank you for having here, sir. And sir, my question, sir, is from your perspective. You're in the industry in so much years, sir. You're nourishing and cultivating the management and the leadership in this industry, sir. In your perspective, what are the unexplored sectors or areas in management that hold a lot of potential to grow?
Yeah, a great question. Thank you for asking that. I think this whole issue of digital, how consumers behave in a digital world, how brands are seen in a digital world, how influencers work, how trust is built, this is all new territory, this is unexplored territory. It will take a lot of time before we put many data points and come to a concept which says this works here. And I'm sure all of you recognize it. I'm sure all of you are on social media. When you post something, you believe this post will do well and it doesn't do well. You're surprised. Then you post something and you think it won't do well and it flies off the handle. It does very well. So the science of it is something that I think we'll understand over the next few years.
Thank you, sir.
You get a benefit because they haven't put up a hand in that section. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jivanshu Sharma, and I've been your LinkedIn follower since few times, so love your content there. So as a professional, it's very important for us to understand and build connections like networking, right? So you have been and worked with so many brands and you have so well connection, right? So what is your advice for young professionals like us to build new connections and new networks which helps us in our professional life and overall?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. My generation was the product of our companies and brands we worked for, or the institutes we studied in. Your generation is going to be a product of what you do. Personal branding has become exceedingly important today, and social media allows you to build your own personal brand. And I think that's fantastic. But here are the caveats to what I've just said. Be true to yourself. What are you good at? Please post about that. You don't need to post about everything under the sun. Please don't do that. There are some taboo topics which you should not touch if you're a professional. And those 3 taboo topics are sex, religion, and politics. Do not comment on them, because they will always divide your base and they will always invite the wrong comment. It's not worth it. It doesn't mean you don't have an opinion on it. You'll have an opinion on it, but it's not worth expressing that opinion publicly and inviting a bunch of diatribe against you. Save yourself that. Okay? And the way to build your brand is to be authentic. Stay true to yourself. You don't need to tag everybody. You don't need to follow everybody. You don't need to respond to every single comment which is made. You don't need to like every single thing which is tagged for you. Don't do that. I think you have to be authentic to who you are and do it. Today there are many, many individuals whose following on social media is significantly higher than the following for the company on the same medium. Okay, so today you truly are individuals, your brands. In the past, the power built the brand. I had the role as a managing director, and my brand was built on being the managing director. Today, I have the power to build a personal brand called Shivakumar. That's the big difference, and you must invest in it. Do not let anybody tell you that it's a waste of time. Do not listen to that. Nobody can save you except your reputation, and that is in your hands. And you must play to that.
Thank you, sir.
Right, I don't see any hands going up in the balcony area. We'll allow 2 more questions. Third row here.
Good morning, panel. I am from ISWBM. My name is Protoy Das. And I want to ask you that being the top leader in a corporate world, what are your views that differentiate between a satisfactory manager, a good manager, and a best manager?
Good question. So let me answer this looking at the structure of the organization, and then you can make out for yourself what needs to be done. When you're a junior manager, your job is to execute. That's it. Nothing else. There's a job given to you, execute it exceedingly well. 200 marks on 100 marks. When you're a middle manager, your job is to train the junior managers and to run the process for the organization. That's the role of a middle manager. When you're a senior manager, your role is to manage the complexities which arise out of the business. For example, the supply chain wants lean inventory, the sales guys want higher inventory. Finance wants a price increase, marketing doesn't want a price increase. So those are the complexities and the challenges which arise, which is what a senior manager needs to do. And the role of a leader is to move people from mindset A to mindset B, apart from being good at all the other 3 that he or she is doing. And right through this journey, you have to be very good at execution, you have to be good at process, you have to be good at managing the trade-off, and you have to be good at influencing the mindset. That is what truly differentiates very effective and inspirational leaders from everybody else.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think we are overshooting by 2 or 3 minutes, but given the quality of the questions that have been coming and the most involved and high energy response from Shiv, you to all of them, I can't allow 3 questions. I'll allow 1, and I'll take the lady.
Hello, am I audible? A very good afternoon to sir and all the dignitaries and all the ladies and gentlemen. I am Anisha Chatterjee from Human Resource Management of ISWBM. So I have a question. As we have already heard and learned about virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, as you have mentioned that you have been a voracious reader, a writer, and have been an editor, the young generations are having a very low patient quotient, and people are trying to be little over, trying to have some smart way to do works. So how you think that artificial intelligence is shaping the young minds? Is it indeed, I think, helping the generations, but it is also doing most of the works. ChatGPT is making plots of the stories, and they are creating all the content. So what are your perceptions regarding that?
Yeah. So all technology is both good and bad. For example, let's take mobile phones. I think mobile phones has made people very impatient. Okay? Let's take you send a message to, let's take a friend. You're promptly looking, has the blue tick come? If the blue tick doesn't come, then you call up. Why haven't you seen my message? It makes you very impatient. Your language has changed dramatically. That's not the language which your English teacher taught you or what your parents would be proud of. Your language is all in 4-letter words with a comma, with a question mark, all kinds of things. Your expressions have changed. There's new slang out there, okay? And so on and so forth. But the benefits of connectivity, the benefits of technology are absolutely many. In the metaverse world and the AI world, one of the biggest things which will happen is, I think this whole audio-visual thing will go to a completely new level. I've been to Microsoft, I've played with those machines, the big ones, etc. I personally believe when the form factor of that machine becomes smaller, maybe to the size of spectacles, and the price point drops to 10,000 rupees, that's when it will take off. I think artificial intelligence, machine learning are all here to stay. Okay. You have to ride that wave. Your generation is absolutely brilliantly well placed to ride this wave. You are a very articulate generation, you are a very tech-led generation, and I think this will play right up your street. There will be, the pitfalls, but as long as you do not, fall into the pitfalls, don't blame the technology. For example, people say a number of road accidents happen because people are talking on the phone or, SMS. The problem is not the car, the problem is the person and his attention. So don't get seduced by the technology that you land yourself in a soup, because there are other laws which you need to follow when you're driving a car or you're in an aircraft or wherever it is. Okay? The other thing about technology which I would warn you is privacy. I am just amazed and shocked at the number of confidential discussions which happen in lifts, which happen in airports, which happen in aircraft. It's just amazing. Okay? So please be careful about the downsides of technology while reaping the benefits of it.
Thank you, Shiv. I'll take my summary from that last question. I have this picture of you walking in with your blue suitcase to talk to a DigiLocker and cloud generation. And you have bridged the connect amazingly well. Storytelling has its own stickiness, and I think all of us will carry back from here almost entire anecdotal hour soaking into your experience. I'll still make an attempt to leave behind for all of us 5 things which Shiv reiterated. I'll of course have to leave the stories out of it and hope that all of you will remember. Firstly, others know or see something in you. Be open about accepting that knowledge. Standing where you are, you may not see something in yourself. That spark may be visible to somebody else. Respect the spark. Put your losses behind you. Move on. Go to the best and give it your best. Wonderfully put by Shiv. Even later when he was responding to the question about what a junior manager should do. Do your task. Do it better than the best. Give it all you have. Stay emotionally invested, but not emotionally handcuffed. Beautiful. Learn to build a skyscraper of skills. Something like a tongue twister, but beautiful. Skyscraper of skills. Deserve before you desire. And finally, wrapping up, we had Mr. Dempo in the previous session also speak about critical thinking, complex problem solving, and creativity. And Shiv brought that very human dimension to it, collaboration and communication. Thank you once again to our panelists, to a fantastic audience and lovely questions. And thank you, Shiv. We will treasure this hour with you. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. Now, may I request Ms. Madhumita Basu to present a memento to Mr. Shiv Shivakumar. I request Vibhor Tandon, Joint Treasurer, CMA, to present a memento to Ms. Madhumita Basu for chairing this session. Thank you.